Lisa.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome back to the A&M podcast. Do you hear that?
No,
Maybe it's just my headphone.
yeah, it could be.
Um,
Sometimes I switched the boards up, so you have the board that has
I have the fancy
the
one.
good sound effects on it on your side,
They
and you
both
also
have good
have the
sound
head. No, but
effects.
you have the headphones in that one, so you would hear the giantly loud buzzer if we do the buzzer. And we're not doing
yeah.
game time, so we should be okay.
Yes, I should be okay with the buzzer.
Yeah.
So, speaking of hearing things, today we're going to talk about conspiracy theories. Yeah, I know. Where's the button? You should have preloaded that.
I should have. Darn it.
But we also just thought about it.
Yeah,
So,
good point.
anyways, I was just telling him about a conspiracy, and I was trying to explain it, but then I'm really bad at explaining it.
Yeah, it's better that you explain it on here because then I can react on here.
He cut me off and told me to
just reacting
quiet.
myself. Don't talk. No. But one kind of funny thing to me on like conspiracy theories in general is I feel like over the last I don't know 5-10 years, a lot of things that people call or used to call conspiracy theories, it's now turned out that was true.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, political stuff mostly.
Or I guess
like
UFOs. People,
Yeah.
But are
Well,
UFOs really real?
Yeah,
They
you
might
know
not
what?
be.
There's supposedly stuff coming out from the government that says, "Oh yeah, they're real and we know." So if we want to get into that, right?
But UFO is just an unidentified flying object,
Yeah, and they
so
use
it's
it-
not
they
like
use
it's
a
an
different-
actual alien spacecraft.
Right. They use a different term now too. It's not UFO anymore. I forget what it is. It's a different acronym, but it's the same thing. But there was something that I heard about very recently that was somebody who was involved in that stuff. I think the guy wrote it, and I wish I had all the details on it. But I think he had written something like before his death about all this stuff that basically talked about the fact that you've heard Area 51 and that whole thing where they say in the 60s or some 50s 60s, I don't know, there was a alien spaceship that crashed somewhere in the desert, and they had the spaceship and the bodies of the aliens and all that. And the idea was that what this guy was writing was basically a lot of our technology that's been developed over the last 40, 50 years was a result of things that they found with that spaceship that landed or crashed. And it's funny if you think about the advancements in technology since the 1960s and the speed at which things evolved. You kind of go, well, maybe that's real. Maybe that is what happened.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Even 90s to 2000.
Yeah.
It was a huge. So the conspiracy theory that I was talking about was Avril Levine. Everyone knows Avril Levine. Back in the day, 90s. Well, I guess she was early 2000s. She was early 2000s, I guess, more.
Maybe, yeah.
But same thing. So there's a theory that Avril died really soon into her career, but also around the time that her career was starting to kick off. And the theory is that, well, I guess they say that around that time she had really bad anxiety. So she would have basically a body double performing for her. What's her name? I think it's Melissa something. And her body double would perform for her. And then once she died, basically that body double who looked just like her or similar to her took over the career, and that's who we know as Avril Lavigne now. Dyed her hair blonde and everything, and now that's the new Avril because Avril died, but she still goes by Avril Lavigne.
And it's funny because when was the last time she made music?
She makes music pretty.
I haven't heard any of her stuff.
Pretty
lately.
recently, I think. She's on social media a lot. I've seen her do like interviews and stuff. She denies it,
Yeah.
obviously, but
Well, you'd hope. I mean,
that's just what
is she willing to
the
go through a DNA test though? That's the question.
yeah.
'Cause
So that's a
unless the
conspiracy
test.
theory. Excuse me. That's a conspiracy theory that you can get lost down a rabbit hole on
Oh yeah.
TikTok over because they'll do like side by side face comparisons, but I think
Yeah.
sometimes when they do side by side face comparisons on people,
Yeah.
it's
Oh
kind of not fair
yeah.
because your face changes,
Well,
especially if
yeah.
it's like older.
And you can be making a weird expression in one, or can have just finished making a weird expression, so your face is a little contorted differently, or something like
Even
that.
certain people that they know that have gotten like small surgeries, they'll be like, look how different their face is. They got a whole different face. And it's like a
Yeah. Yeah.
picture of them 10 years ago.
Ooh.
10 years ago, and obviously your face changes and
Yeah.
develops and everything like
Yeah,
that.
that's true too. Yeah, some of the other ones are similar things, like with celebrities. Like I remember for for years they were saying, "Oh, Elvis isn't really dead,"
Hmm.
and what made those, and same thing with like JFK. And there's the other conspiracy theories with JFK, which we can talk about, but uh, maybe we're going to find out about all of that soon because President Trump signed an executive order, I guess, to release everything that we have on the JFK assassination and the RFK
Mm.
assassination and the MLK, everybody who has three initials, all of their murders. We're going to release everything on. But
I just don't understand why, because a lot of those are like, they didn't really die. They're still around.
yeah,
Like Michael
well,
Jackson, Bob Marley, they
yeah,
say. Elvis. There's this
yeah,
guy in, I don't remember where he lives. I think Hawaii. And he performs and he kind of sounds like Elvis. And people literally are like, look, see, this is really Elvis. Like, he
yeah.
wanted a smaller
But
life,
how old would Elvis be at this point though?
older
Like,
than the guy that they're
yeah,
showing. Like, the
yeah,
guy that they're showing, he's older. He kind of does resemble Elvis a little bit, I
yeah,
guess, if you're really like
yeah.
trying to
No,
make it be him.
I remember like I don't know back in the '80s or that when like the supermarket tabloids like News of the World and the National Enquirer when they were big, it was
Hmm.
like every other week they'd have some dead celebrity. They'd have a thing on the cover saying that oh they're not really dead and here's a picture of them and it was like a picture of Jay. It was like if you if you did the stuff they do now in movies where they age people
Hmm.
but it was JFK shown that way. Only then it was probably done. It was either a guy who just happened to look like him, and they were saying it was him, or
I think I would believe it more if they didn't say it about so
yeah,
many
yeah,
celebrities. Like,
yeah,
every well known,
yeah,
popular celebrity that dies like that,
yeah,
they're like, no, they didn't really die. They're
yeah.
like in a tunnel somewhere.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, and you're right. I feel like it's every one of them that you could say, oh, they died way too young, like Michael Jackson,
mm-hmm,
Elvis, JFK, Princess Diana, any of those.
mm-hmm,
They come up with that, and I think people believe it because like when people like die too young like that, you know you want to believe that oh no they didn't really you know what I mean it's
yeah,
just playing into human nature I think.
yeah,
And then but talking about the JFK one I am interested to see what comes out about that because the stories on that are basically that like um, he wasn't he wasn't assassinated by the guy that they said assassinated him, which was that guy was like some Russian sympathizer, and that was in the middle of the Cold War, so it was
mm-hmm.
some guy who had been like I think his wife was Russian and um, you
The
know
guy that did it, or the guy that
yeah
they said did
yeah
it?
well the guy that was convicted of it, but then actually never went, or not convicted of it, who they arrested for it, but then he never made it to trial because he was killed, uh, like on his way to court or something like that. There was a guy that
What?
killed him, which lent more to the conspiracy theory, which is that JFK was actually killed by like a CIA inside job kind of thing. Yeah,
That's
because
interesting.
apparently the people in the and there's still that kind of like those kind of stories that go on today about the whole deep state thing that there's these entities within the government that are really controlling things and the people that are put in power don't really don't really have it.
Interesting. They're just like the
Yeah,
face for it.
yeah, yeah. So
That,
that's the story with the JFK thing, though, is that he wasn't killed by Lee Harvey Oswald, which is the guy that they said, you know,
who's
did it.
also the guy that they shot on the way to his.
Yeah, and I forget the story
What?
about the guy that shot him too. What happened with him? But yeah, it's yeah, it's if you're writing like
So how did
you
they
know, a
find
spy
out
novel.
later on that that was not the guy?
Well, no, I mean
Or
that's
they're just
the
that's just
official
what they're
story
saying.
is that that's who did it. But the
Oh.
story that that they've always repeated is
Mhm.
that he's the one that did it. Now supposedly there are files on that are like sealed, or that have been sealed that were supposed to be released. I think I forget. They're supposed to be released a few years ago, and
Mhm.
then they didn't. I think it was during Trump's first term that was all supposed to be released, and then it wasn't for some reason, and that's why like now he signed that executive order. So, but I don't know when it'll all
Mhm.
actually come out. So
That's interesting.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
What about what do you think of what do you think of the flat earth
The
conspiracies?
flat Earth one is funny because like some of these, there's more recent ones about the COVID vaccines and
Mhm.
it causing health problems and that kind of thing, and that's something you could say, well, you can believe that because it hasn't been completely disproven.
Yeah.
But the flat Earth thing is just, and the people that believe that, like, they have entire explanations for like why the horizon, why just everything, rockets, all of that. When the rockets go up and they send pictures back, what it looks like they have explanations for all of that,
Yeah,
which
they
is
say
just
it's just like, fake, and now probably
yeah.
in the age of AI, they just blame it on AI.
Oh yeah.
But there was this one guy he went outside and he was trying to like I think he was trying to prove that the earth was flat. And he
Right.
had this little contraption where he like looks through a hole and then another hole, and it's like to see, I don't know, the curve of the horizon
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
And he proved his own theory wrong. Like he proved that the
That's
earth is
funny.
not flat, because obviously if the earth is flat, you would be able to see like
You'd be able to
way
see
out
to the end and to the other side. Which what would the other side be? And
the other side of the world.
and how has no one fallen off? Like, it would at least have to be a cylinder. It might not be a globe, but it would have to be a cylinder that goes all the way around.
Right.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, and he proved himself
Makes
wrong.
sense. You know what? Another one that was big for a while too was the idea that we never went to the moon.
Oh yeah, that one I've
Yeah,
still heard like within the last year,
yeah.
like people
And
talking about.
they say that the whole thing was just like filmed in a, I don't know, a studio
Yeah.
somewhere or something. And yeah, that it
And
was
they
just
like
all
have
like
certain
fake.
types of proof with it, and
Yeah.
I guess some of it up around it is like, well, how are we able to go to the moon way back then, but we haven't been able to go
Right.
back, which makes kind of sense, I
It
guess,
does.
but
No, it does.
like
It
that's
does.
where you're like, maybe I am one of them.
Yeah. No. No.
But
It does though when you think about that, because what we went to the moon in the early '70s. I think it was. I think it was like '70. I should know that. That should be an. I should have known that thing.
yeah,
But
it should.
like early '70s. So you know that's like 50 years ago, over 50 years ago, and right.
Technology has
Am I
advanced
doing
so
my math right?
much,
Yeah.
even in like
Yeah.
spacecraft.
Yeah. So like, you think of it. That's a great point too. You think of everywhere else that technology has, like, computers now versus then,
Mhm.
and yet, how can it be so difficult to get back there?
Mhm.
It just
But we were able to go
yeah,
way back then.
yeah. Just it does kind of make you think. And by the way, I don't believe it, but it does make you think about it. Like, yeah, it
It
could
makes it
it
sound
could
like
be
not
there.
as crazy of a
Yes.
conspiracy, I think.
Yeah.
Because back then, too, because technology wasn't that heightened,
Right.
people weren't thinking, there was no part of probably someone's brain that would have thought, like, it was
It
filmed
was
in a
made up.
studio
Yeah.
or made
Yeah.
up. It was
Yeah.
just like
No, they wouldn't do that.
watching it on my black and white
Well,
TV.
I mean, that even that one though should be easy to prove, because didn't they leave a flag there? So you should just be able to, like, with a telescope, like we've got really good telescopes now. They should
Maybe
be
the
able to
flag's not there anymore. I
find the
wonder
flag.
if the
Where'd
flag is still
where'd
there.
it go? Where would it
Because
have
I think
gone?
I heard something about that.
Oh, and and
Is hold
and
on.
then it makes you like it makes you wonder about like we've sent those rovers to Mars to like drive around the surface of Mars.
Mhm.
Are they really there, or is that just like somebody has an RC car in the desert somewhere and they're just driving it around and I have
Okay.
a good one, and this is relevant to this coming week. Let's see, because this will come out on Tuesday, and Sunday will be the Super Bowl. And that
Yep.
conspiracy theory is that the NFL has the officials give preference to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I believe that. I believe it. Yeah, and you'll see things all over about it, like
I think
all
that's
over
is that just
social
because
media.
you're an Eagles fan, or is it because
No, because even when they're playing teams that I maybe don't like, I see it. You know what I mean? And that those are the times where you'd be like, there's been too many times where I'm trying to think of the one game where like, uh, what's his name, Mahomes, like was running all over the field, and then at the last second he slid down, and a guy was kind of moving to tackle him before he slid down, so he kind of fell on him while he was sliding down, and they called a unnecessary roughness. Now most
Mhm.
quarterbacks, I mean Jalen Hurts on the Eagles, like if he
Mhm.
enters a slide and somebody hits him, they're just like play on,
Mhm.
most of the time. So, and there's been other ones where it was just like you know really bad. Like if I was the NFL and that perception was out there that the Kansas City Chiefs always get the benefit of the doubt, or not the benefit of the doubt, the benefit of favorable ref,
Calls.
calls.
Yeah.
um, I would be doing everything I could to not, to have that perception go away, and to have to, I don't know, charge the officials with, making sure they're not making calls that are even mildly questionable, in those kind of scenarios, because you just feed the conspiracy theory, that
Mhm.
the whole idea that there's like a script, that they have the team they want to get there and the teams they don't want to get there. And,
I don't think there's a script necessarily.
now I don't think it's literally a script, but I think that there are times where these leagues do have a preference that, like, from a financial standpoint, they go, well, this game would be better for us, you know, in baseball, like, New York versus LA in the World Series is a great, that's a great sell because it's two major cities on each coast. Um, so, given the preference, they might want that to, as opposed to like, you know, I don't know,
Yeah, I
a
mean, I know
smaller market team.
the higher ups, they're the ones that, obviously they make the final calls, like even when it comes down to I know, like when it comes down to cutting somebody, like
Mhm.
the coaches don't really know about it.
Oh
It
yeah, it's
they
financial a
find
lot of
out
times.
about it pretty much the same time that
Well,
the player finds out about it. Like
yeah, because
they
a
don't
lot of
get the
times,
heads up.
so
It's out of
so
their control.
yeah, because a lot of times the coach like doesn't even, like, they might have input on players that they get, but
Mhm.
usually it's the general manager who is the
Yeah.
one who's like responsible for getting players and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's the case, with a lot of things. So if you
Mhm.
have a good coach but a bad general manager, then you're going to have a bad team because he's not going to
Mhm.
get the right players, the right mix of players to.
Or like even when it comes down to like the salary, like they're basically given basically like a pot of money
Yeah.
each team, and then that's why you don't always have a team with the a bunch of top paid players, because that team is only given a certain amount of money.
Well,
So if they give
yeah.
all of their money to this one player, then the rest of their talent isn't going to be
Right.
high paying
Right.
good players. So
But
like even when Tom Brady, he took that pay cut because he wanted,
yeah,
like,
he wanted to
obviously
get. Yeah, he wanted to
better
get.
players with
Yeah.
him
Yeah. Yeah, and in other words, winning was more important than
than
his
his
than his
paycheck.
paycheck. Yeah,
Mhm.
and like a great example of that. of what you're talking about, though, is the Giants last year letting Saquon Barkley go
Mhm.
because they first of all, he wanted more money. They didn't think he would get it anywhere.
Mhm.
They really didn't think he'd get it in the NFC in division,
Mhm.
and they were wrong. And now he's with the Eagles and he's having like a like career season here.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and that was all financial. That wasn't about
Yeah.
who was the best player for the team. It was all financial.
Mhm.
So uh,
That's not conspiracy theories.
that's
That's
not
just our
conspiracy.
that's just our
No,
football
we
facts.
just drifted into that because we were talking about the fact that the NFL
Didn't you
wants
just mention
Patrick
one to me? You
Mahomes.
mentioned one to me before. I can't remember what
We
it
talked
was.
about the moon. We talked about
It was after
JFK.
my Avril Levine
Oh,
comment
how
before
about
we started.
and there's a lot of these kind when somebody dies, when somebody like dies under questionable circumstances. And Jeffrey Epstein, that whole story, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was in prison
Mhm.
and he hung himself.
Mhm.
And he allegedly hung himself. And the reason like the conspiracy theories come in is because, well, first of all, there were a lot of like well-known high money people
Mhm.
who were supposedly on his list, the list of people that had been involved with him in
Yeah.
his activities, let's just say.
Mhm.
And they like supposedly the prison that he was in,
Mhm.
the like security cameras in the area where he was,
Mhm.
like suddenly weren't recording. They malfunctioned um, during the time frame where it happened, so that lends to the
What?
conspiracies. Yeah, a lot
I
of
wonder
them.
what the window of it that it went offline. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Was
I
it
don't know.
like
Was
for
it
an
like for days or
hour
yeah?
or
That
yeah?
that would be good to know. Yeah, that would be really good to
Because
know.
I feel like the shorter, like the smaller the window,
Yeah,
then the more suspicious it is. But
yeah,
it, you know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, but also if somebody's trying to do something sketchy, maybe they know the tactics of,
Oh yeah.
you know,
I feel like people who are involved in that kind of thing, yeah, like people who are those like the high money people, they know how to. I watch too many
yeah.
shows, though. I do watch too many TV shows. So when somebody
Same.
comes to me with one like that, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And one of the people that the conspiracies say like was involved are the Clintons because they're supposedly on the list. So they say that
Allegedly.
like like I've seen memes where it's like the prison guard that was guarding Jeffrey Epstein, when it happened, and it's like Hillary Clinton with like a prison guard uniform and a mustache on, or that kind of thing. It's those are those. That's where they go. It just becomes funny.
But there's a lot of that stuff, like even with the like the P Diddy
Right.
stuff going on, and they always have like a list with just basically half of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that was with Epstein too, where but a lot of people say that Hollywood, I guess, is like very sketchy, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the famous people that we know, they got a lot of things going on. What do you think about did you ever hear about the tunnels that are under like California or like Los Angeles specifically?
No.
You never heard about that? I saw this video and
Wait,
it
those aren't the ones that Elon Musk's building, are they? That Hyperloop thing.
no, I don't
No.
think so. I
Oh.
think it's different. But there was this guy, and I saw a clip of him, and he was talking about how he used to work in like the tunnels under Los Angeles are a real thing, and it's for what are they called, like the A-list celebrities,
Oh, so
basically
they
to
don't.
travel under there.
Wow.
Cause
Wow.
he made a good point. He was like, when have you ever seen like, you know, just celebrities just on a daily basis out driving?
Right. So what you're saying is
And
they're like the secret paths in Disney World, the
yeah,
backstage areas in Disney World.
literally.
Wow.
And they travel underground mostly to get to important things like,
Yeah.
shows and stuff. Because if you think about it, all of these events that go on in Los Angeles, and you don't have like, oh, so and so couldn't make it because they're stuck in traffic. No, they're in underground tunnels.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's
And
never a case where like, oh no, they didn't get to, filming on time for the show because they were stuck in traffic. That's very
hmm
true. And they
they're
have bad
never
traffic out there too.
like I'm sure they drive out in the public occasionally, but
Yeah. So you,
they
you you know what I'm talking about with the Elon Musk thing though, right? The
no.
Hyperloop thing. Like
Mm-mm.
basically he has this design that he wants to do for like cities, I guess, to like replace the highways with underground tunnels where like you'll go in there in your car and it'll like something will basically lift your car and carry it and cars will move at like hundreds of miles an hour because everybody will be on that same track so there
Wow.
won't be any, there'll be no like there won't be a possibility of a collision
It's
kind of thing.
giving Spaceship Earth.
Yeah, a little bit, a little
Um,
bit.
but this guy for the underground tunnel, he said that he worked at a Starbucks under there before, and he said he could talk about it because his NDA expired, and he worked at a Starbucks under there, and he would see stars all the time, like your Tom Hanks,
Mhm.
like those kind of celebrities under there, Jerry Seinfeld,
Mhm.
and yeah, like so not only is it just like a road, there's like coffee shops, there's Starbucks
Oh,
underneath
wow,
underground
wow.
for these
I,
stars to go to and get their coffee and
now,
like
now I really want to become famous so I can find out if that's true. Because
right.
if that's true, that's a really neat one.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
that's a very,
But they say that the underground tunnels were already previously there from like way back in the day in the early ages of Los Angeles.
yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously they
And
just adapted them to
they had to make them
famous
nicer
people
though, right?
only.
Like I don't think they're not like coal mine tunnels down there.
No.
They're
But I
like,
wonder how with LA's or just California in general with their earthquakes,
yeah.
how they can even have something underground
Well,
like
they'd
that.
have to be. I mean, they do have. I think they have. Do they have subways in LA? I think they do. I'm
I don't
trying to
know.
remember when I was out there. I thought that there was like somewhere we went. There was like a subway tunnel. I might.
Mhm.
I don't know. I may be insane. This may be a fake fact.
I just feel like
Um,
anything underground in California is dangerous.
yeah. I was just thinking. Oh, so this isn't exactly a conspiracy theory. It's more like celebrity gossip, I guess. But or that could also be a conspiracy theory because I don't know that anybody's confirmed it. Have you heard these stories going around that Jennifer Aniston is secretly dating Barack Obama?
I heard that.
And here's something that lends some credence to it. The funeral of Jimmy Carter was a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
and it was quickly followed by the inauguration of President Trump. And at both those events, Barack Obama was there, but Michelle was not.
Mhm.
And the Trump inauguration, okay, she not a fan of him, maybe, so she was like, no, I'm not going to that. There were a lot of
Mhm.
prominent Democrats that didn't attend, because
Yeah.
whatever. But the Jimmy Carter funeral, I don't quite get
Yeah, I
because
think she definitely would have been there for that.
yeah, that's so that was a little bit of a weird one in the first
I
place, and
was
then when those stories started coming out, it was like,
yeah,
oh,
cuz someone said that apparently allegedly that she they were they were like spotted out. Like it
oh,
was a
okay,
thing. Like they were spotted out together. I don't
yeah,
think I believe it.
yeah. I don't know,
This
I
is
don't
a
know.
weird match to me.
It
I
does
don't
seem
think I
like
believe it.
a weird match, but
And
I
he
don't know.
recently, I don't know if it was him or her, but one of them recently posted like something about the other one, and it was like a Levy post,
Oh,
like days after the inauguration.
oh, who?
I don't know,
The
Obama or
the
Michelle.
oh, one of the
One of them
okay.
like posted something
Oh,
Levy
well,
about the other one, and then the
yeah.
other one like
Yeah,
reposted
it could
it and
be
was
just to
like,
get everybody
love you,
off.
sugar," like I don't
Yeah,
know,
it
something
could
like
could
that.
just be to get everybody off the scent. I don't
That
know.
because that's what the
You
the article was like. Oh,
so
look at it, Michelle and Obama, trying to get people off the path.
yeah, you've heard the other the other while we're talking about the
No,
Obamas,
don't say it.
I shouldn't go into that
No,
one.
don't go into that
It's
one.
it's
No.
crazy. It's really crazy. That one's really crazy. Everybody who's listening is gonna know what we're talking about, but
I
that one
think
that
everyone
one's
always
kind of
kind of
crazy.
makes up like crazy stories.
Just to see who will believe them, if people will
Yeah,
believe
like
them.
so that's what I think about a lot of the conspiracy theories.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Like how many of them do they make up that they're like
and Yeah, I want to know
Let's
like
just see who's gonna believe this and how
is
far it.
okay. I have my own conspiracy theory. Is there or maybe I have a conspiracy theory. There's a secret society that comes up with conspiracy theories just to see if people, you know, what they can get people to believe.
That's funny. That would be funny.
Yeah, I think.
A secret society.
Yeah,
How do I apply
yeah,
for that
like
job? Because
wow.
I think I would have a lot of fun with that.
How about this? I just pulled some things up on some conspiracy theories. So this sounds like your Avril Levine one, but it's related to Paul McCartney.
Oh,
Yeah. It claims that allegedly Paul McCartney died in a car accident in 1966 and was replaced by a look-alike Scottish orphan named William
yeah.
Shears Campbell, who also went by Billy Shears, and that the Beatles hinted at this in their song. Wow, that's that's a crazy one.
That's
That's
what they
kind
did
of a
with
crazy
Avril
one.
too.
Oh,
That's what they did.
oh, it mentions it here. Yeah, it does
Because
mention
they say that she sings about songs and they like disinfect the lyric. Disinfect.
it.
It's not disinfect.
Yeah,
um, they basically go into every song of Avril's from the moment that they think that Melissa took over, and they're like, "Oh, look, see, she's singing about this."
yeah,
Like they totally pick apart every single lyric and
yeah.
just run with it.
That's crazy. Apparently, there's a Melania Trump replacement theory that she was replaced by a different Melania. I don't know.
Yeah, because they look at their faces and that's how they
Yeah,
try to do it too.
yeah,
Look, their face has changed. Look, their nose used to look like this 5 years ago and now it
yeah,
looks like
yeah.
this.
I don't know.
That's
I
where
don't
I
know.
could not be famous because I would be so annoyed. I think I'm too like
Yeah,
outspoken to I don't know. I think I'm too outspoken where if they were trying to make up crazy rumors about me or someone I knew, I'd be like
yeah.
trying too hard to prove it
That's
wrong.
this is not on the same topic, but we've been watching. They've been doing the congressional hearings for the different appointees,
Mhm.
for the president's cabinet. And every time I watch these, and it's the same, if you're watching, the other side, if it going either way. But I look at it and I go, I would never want to be appointed to any president's cabinet because I couldn't sit there and have the people like just so rude,
Mhm.
just be so rude, and just have to sit there and like be cordial and professional and all that, and not start yelling at them. And
I feel like
it would
that's
be
why I would
difficult.
never want to go into politics in
Yeah,
general.
no, me
Because
either.
they will pick you apart. You, your family, your friends, your
Unless it gets you
shopping
into the
habits.
secret Los Angeles tunnels. If it gets me into the secret Los Angeles tunnels, then maybe.
And
Then
then I
then
would
I
just
might do
live
it.
down there so that
Yeah.
nobody could bother me.
Right. Right. Yeah, because I mean, I feel like you talk about the stuff with celebrities and they can't go anywhere and all that. It's worse with politicians because,
True.
like most celebrities, people don't, actually like, hate them, and I feel like, especially where we are today with politicians, it's like there's a lot of, you don't just disagree with them. You
Yeah, though, no, that's true. Like with politicians, I feel like you have either the people that like are really for you. You have more often than not the people that are really for you and like fine with you and don't care. And then but the people that don't like you really don't like you.
yeah,
Like you could have somebody that doesn't like Kim Kardashian
right,
and like you're not a huge fan of Kim Kardashian, like you think she's annoying, whatever you think
right,
about her.
right.
But if you see her out at the store, way less people are going to go up to Kim Kardashian and be like, "You suck, you're stupid." Like,
Yeah, yeah,
just berate you
yeah,
as they would a politician that they don't like.
right, right. That's very true.
Like
That's
if you
very
hate the
true.
governor and you see him out, you're going to be like going up to him trying to
Yeah,
square up.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
I think you're at way more danger. But also, celebrities, if you're that famous, they also have security around them at all times.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also true.
Politicians, like a regular
Yeah,
politician,
if you're not somebody that's getting Secret Service, you're probably not
you,
paying for your own security.
yeah.
That's true. So I guess the what we came down to is all conspiracy theories are theories until they're proven right. Then what are they? They're just facts.
Facts,
Yeah,
true.
they're just facts. So
Hmm.
that's all I got.
Oh, wait, one more.
Okay.
Aliens.
aliens. Oh well, we kind of talked about that with
But do you think
the Area
remember
51 thing.
that time that it came out not that long ago where they it was like it was spotted out in public and it was like a 10-foot tall
You know,
a person,
so
not person, but like
yeah,
a 10-foot tall
creature.
creature,
Yeah.
and they were like it's an alien. Like someone said they saw it. They had it like I don't know.
So the only problem with that stuff today is with CGI and now with AI, you can't believe anything you see. So if somebody shows you a video of it, even if that video looks incredibly real,
Like straight from the
you
Ring
can't,
camera.
yeah, unless I see it myself or unless it's verified by multiple, reliable sources,
Mhm.
you can't believe it until they capture it and and even then I'm gonna be like, nah, that's a costume.
Like
It's
the
just
bear costume.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not that I don't think that there could be, or that I
Uh-huh.
think that there was something just recently I heard about some sort of, I don't know, there was some kind of space, something in space, whether it was like an asteroid or something else, and it was just like the way it went, I guess, when it traveled like around the sun and was coming back this way, like was unnatural. It wasn't like the way it should have been. So they're
Oh,
saying they
really?
think it was a spacecraft because
Really?
yeah, and when we send like spacecrafts to different places, like we use that, we will like slingshot around, like I think they when they go to Mars, like they have to actually head towards the moon, and then they use the gravitational pull of the moon to kind of get a
Oh.
slingshot effect to get more thrust.
People are so
um,
smart.
yeah, so it would make sense that space aliens that are smarter than us would know, would do the same thing. The funny thing is though, talking
Crazy.
about that, we always assume that if there's life out there, that it's more advanced and more intelligent than we are, right?
Yeah,
But why don't we just assume that the life on the other planet is like they're currently in their caveman era,
that's true.
you know?
I think because of shows like The Jetsons.
Yeah, that's like the Jetsons. Not like Star Trek or
Well,
any of
that
that. Just
too,
the
exactly.
Jetsons,
Really, all of them. Yeah,
X
no,
Files.
all
No,
of
no,
them.
the Jets. You go to right to cartoon. See, I watch the Flintstones, so that's why I assume that they're cavemen. So
Yeah. Anyways,
anyway, just remember, it's only a conspiracy until you prove it.
all right.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.